Hello and welcome to the Golden Sports Report, episode 69. I'm Andy,
I'm Sean.
and it's going to be us two tonight as we talk about the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 1 and Game 2. As you may know, the last episode we had to do it during Game 1 somewhat and missed some of it, but I know I watched all of Game 2 last night, watched what was left of Game 1 that I hadn't watched because I was on the show, so we'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the Pacific Division and what they should do going into the draft, as the draft is only a short time away. And yeah, so Sean, first thing I'm going to ask you is how much of the two games have you watched so far?
Um, I only watched the third period to the overtime on both games. Um, Depressing for a Rangers, well, someone who wants the Rangers to win, to give up a two-goal lead and then lose it in overtime both games. So yeah,
Yeah, it was I guess the first time in NHL history that a team like the Kings have won three games in a row after being down by two goals. Game 7 against Chicago, they came back, and then Game 1 and Game 2 in this series. They actually haven't led a game since Game 6 in the Western Conference Finals. Like they've won the last three games, but they were always they were always either tied or trailing, and won it in overtime. So yeah. But I have to ask you, what has surprised you the most about these games? What do you what have you seen that's just been like, wow, I didn't think the Rangers would play this bad. I didn't think the Kings would play so bad in the beginning of the games, and just stuff related to that.
um, I don't know. Probably how close the games are actually like played. It's very physical. Obviously, it's for the cup. Everyone wants to kill each other. But that and I don't know the fast pace. Usually, western or eastern side teams are I don't know. They just seem sluggish compared to the western teams, and Rangers have actually kept up, except third period when they shut down. And just I don't know what the deal is. Uh, it's frustrating though. Oh, and the
Do you
officiating has
think
been
the Kings?
sluggish. Cough, no goal, cough.
I feel we should talk about this. We should probably talk about this because it'll be us two, and we could use the topic. Um, Below in the comments, give your opinion on the was it the third goal last night? Was it the third LA goal when they were make it 4-3,
Yeah,
or
third
was it the
goal.
tying goal? So the to give you a little background, if you didn't watch, if you want to have a valid opinion, you should probably watch a YouTube video of it. But so Henrik Lundqvist at the top of his crease, and Dwight King kind of tries to sandwich himself in between Lundqvist and McDonough as the puck's being shot, and Lundqvist really can't move to the right, but I feel like King can't move to the right either. So he put himself into a situation that impeded the goalie, but McDonough didn't help the matter. As you could see, after the puck went in, McDonough knocked King down, or well, King fell because McDonough pushed him and he fell onto Lundqvist. So I don't know. I feel like maybe McDonough had something to do with that as well. Like he definitely didn't help the matter. I don't know. You have another opinion? What is your opinion on it?
Uh, um, from what I saw, I don't know. I saw it like two or three times. Um, I saw. I think I'm pretty sure it was King, but him he turns his skate and it kind of looks like it was he was going towards Lundqvist, and of course McDonough didn't really help the matter. But King, in my opinion, could have gotten out of the way, and the way the goal happened, it definitely should have been no goal. Like he was already falling down by the time the puck actually got to Lundqvist. Um, uh, and then I don't know if you're going to talk about this again, but King ran straight into Lundqvist, and that pissed me off even more because that's the idiot that ran into him and caused the goal in the first place. And it was like Sabres in 2011, how they didn't help Miller when he got ran by Lucic. It's it's things like that that bother me. Like you're in a final to win a cup and you're not going to protect your goalie that much. It's I don't know.
Well, I think like to go from a Rangers perspective as a Rangers player in that situation, the difference between the Bruins and Sabres is that's a regular season game, and fighting back against that isn't nearly as costly as if a Rangers player took a major penalty or something, trying to trying to defend Lundqvist. I feel like defending him will get you a penalty, and the Kings had all the momentum. As you said, the third period for the Rangers has been very slow, and I feel like that has to do with the physicality of the Kings. The Kings are they're the Western Conference team. Western Conference is physical. The East Coast is finesse. That it is what it is. And you'll see in the beginning of these games, the Rangers are fast, and that's why they get up to a 2-0 lead because they're fast, they're fresh, they, they're just quicker than the Kings. They can skate circles around the Kings. But when the Kings get to them, they punish them every time. I remember in game one on this show, I said, looking at the box score, the hits were 23-9 in favor of the Kings. And I said, that is going to be how it's like all series. And in the third period, the Rangers are beat up, they're tired, and the Kings, they just play their game. They just kind of play at, I don't want to say they're playing at 75%, but they're playing at like a level that they can play consistently all game long. And I don't know, I think the Rangers they're getting tired. Um, I do think the Kings are trying to rough up Lundqvist though. Jeff Carter, you saw what Jeff Carter ran into him behind the net, right?
Oh yeah, I said it was King. My bad.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest because Lundqvist went down and then he came back up like 2 minutes later, and he was down, making it look like it was terrible, like when he was laying face down in the ice for so long, and then he got up and he was saving pucks 30 seconds later. This series, there's been so many dives, so many dives. Where is it's like it's become an unsportsmanlike game. It really has. The Rick Nash when Justin Williams kind of pushed him a little bit. But Rick Nash, a 220-pound forward, falls to the ice like he was like a little piece of shit. Like, come on. Like, literally. dives or a lot of oh my god, what's the word? It starts with an E. I don't want to say emphasize,
Embellishment.
embellishment. Have you seen all the? Well, have you seen the same things I have in terms of embellishment? And do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we talked about this in the group chat, but obviously the viewers can't see it. Uh, kind of had a heated moment when I was talking about Dustin Brown because he's probably the leader of embellishment for the LA Kings. Uh, it bothers me so much. I'll talk about the Rick Nash one too. At first, I thought that was like a clear call, obviously interference, and then it did the slow mo, and then I was like, really? You're gonna get the call no matter what. He ran into you. You didn't have to make yourself flip over. Um, yeah, it's just annoying. Dustin Brown, if your blade of your stick even gets close to his face, he's gonna cry and pretend like he got hit, and then he'll laugh. Um, it's I don't know. If you're gonna, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's annoying, needless to say.
Yeah, like you what irritated me too in game one, a penalty that wasn't called. Now we saw the goal interference, but in game one, Chris Kreider butt ended Drew Doughty in the face, like straight up, and the ref didn't see it. And Doughty was pissed, but it was like, you know, what the hell? How are you not calling that, but you're calling somebody that may have, well, so, there's a lot of random words and noises. They high stick each other, but when they high stick each other, they wave their head around. Derek Brassard did a triple pirouette after he did it. It's like, oh God, I'm going to fall to one knee and just spin and then get up and not be able to skate, and then I'm going to play hockey in 30 seconds. I think anybody that gets high stick should not be able to play on that power play.
Yeah.
See,
I forgot who it was. It was definitely a high stick, but the idiot was trying to make himself bleed, and he was jabbing his fingers down his throat, just trying to find blood. And they did a replay, and it literally was a slap. It wasn't the edge or anything. It was literally the stick slapping his face, and he made
and
like
that
the
shouldn't be
biggest
a penalty.
deal out of it. What's that?
Like, I'm not, like, I don't think we're saying that it shouldn't be a penalty, but we're like saying that don't try to oversell it like an actor, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable. Like, this is a sport that at least I look at basketball and I see all the flops, and I'm like, and that is why I don't like basketball. They give out free shots to people because they got contacted. Not It's a sport that's meant to be contact, but at the same time penalize contact. Where in the NHL, I I try and pride it on physical play, tough play, players playing injured. But then you see in this series all these players diving and embellishing and looking like freaking bitches, and it's like they it's not hockey like trying to sell these calls. I think the Rick Nash penalty. I almost want to say that it was a return for not penalizing Dwight King for that goal.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a it's like a wash, but it isn't at the same time. But I feel like the refs were more willing to call a call like that for the Rangers after that. But I even watched the one time the Kings player in the overtime. I think it was the first overtime. They had the puck and they shot it out of the rink, but the linesman thought it hit the glass, and then
Yeah, I
they had to
remember
take a
that.
timeout. And you see Brian Boyle talking to the ref, right? And you watch the ref's lips, and he says, I know." And I'm thinking to myself, so he must have saw a replay afterwards, and it's like, well, are they gonna give something to the Rangers? Like, I wouldn't doubt if they gave something to the Rangers. Like,
Yeah.
not necessarily in the next game, but down the line here because they did something like that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure when the refs do that, it has to be majority rules, but I don't know. Honestly, if the linesman on this side sees it clearly, he should have the all-out rule of the whole play because he's got the best view. And say the real official on the other side of the rink says it's not, I don't know, it's garbage.
Yeah, like it's like in football. You'll see reps call things from across the field. You'd be like, and then the announcer's like, all the way across the field, the ref made the call. It's
Hmm.
because the guy right in front of it screwed it up. But the guy in front of it in this case did screw it up. The linesman made the wrong call because I guess when the puck got shot out, he started smacking the glass to show, oh, glass, glass, it hit the glass. But the guy across the ice, after watching the replay, was like, oh, shit,
Yeah.
done
At
called
first,
it.
oops, sorry. At first, I thought it was going to be interference call on Boyle for the hit afterwards, but yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? How do you think this series is going to go going forward?
Like a prediction on who's going to win.
Well, yeah, because you weren't there for Wednesday, so give your kind of prediction on who you think's going to win, and yeah, how do you
Hmm.
think it's going to go?
I think New York's going to win both home games like LA did, and it's going to be go down to Game 7, and New York's going to win. And if they don't, I will shave my head.
Isn't your head pretty much shaved already? That's not a big loss, is it?
No, it's really long.
Oh, oh, he's got his hair on the line for the Rangers. They're going to win 4 out of the next 5,
Yep.
according to Sean. I don't. That's a tough order. I don't know. Not to say because I know we talk about the Kings and the Ducks and we have this little rivalry thing, but the Kings, I think, like in a game, the Rangers start off fast, but they get worn down, and I think over this series they're just going to get worn down, and I think the Kings are just going to beat them because they're going to be able to play with the bumps and bruises, whereas the Rangers are not accustomed to playing through the bumps and bruises. And I also think that the experience of the Kings is a major factor in this.
uh, I don't know. To me, obviously, I think it was Game 4. They're gonna have Carcillo back because the penalty got or the suspension got reduced. So there's another hitting person. Boyle should start throwing his body around. He's what 6'7" or something, pretty tall. Um, I don't know. I just feel like if I'm gonna say his name wrong, uh, their head coach. I'm not even gonna try. Um,
Vigneault.
yeah, Vigneault. Yeah. If he, they, if he just teaches those kind of things during practices, just the little things, either how to dodge them or prepare your body from it. You can learn from those things, and uh, I don't know. Their their captains are stepping up and they're doing what they have to do. They just have to conserve their energy, like space it out like a normal game, and then just go with the flow. Because they have the LA running every game this whole series. So if they keep that up, I really do think they can win this.
We'll see. Game three is tomorrow, I believe. I'm not sure though.
Yep.
It's, it's game four Wednesday. I'm gonna be irritated. I have to check. I have to check right now. This isn't very professional. By the way, in the comments below, when you do watch this, give your opinion of the first two games and where you think it's gonna go. Things like that. We'll talk about in the next episode. We rarely get comments, which makes it. We rarely get comments from people that aren't part of the show that be like on the next episode, so they can kind of just touch on it. But yeah, if you got a comment, comment. I know we get viewers. Last month was our third best month, so how much does that have to do with the mock draft? Probably a lot. Mock draft is a good episode. Hopefully, by the way, our NHL mock draft will be in 2.5 weeks, and we intend on having a great episode with that. And yeah, should be a doozy. I'm trying to
Oh
find
yeah.
this. This is becoming so difficult. They've got all this crap buried.
And pick which one of the group should shave my head if I lose, but it won't happen because New York's gonna win the cup.
If you were to have to make a money bet, how much money would you bet on the Rangers in Cup?
On who winning the cup? Rangers.
Yep.
um, does it have to be realistic money or like imaginary?
Well, I'm not making a real bet with you, but how much money would you be willing to bet on the Rangers winning the Cup? I'm not betting
$100.
with you, but wow, wow, that's a big waste of $100. Holy shit, that's a
I
cheesy bet. Way cheesy
really like
bet.
the underdog story, so
Oh my god, that might be more ballsy than what Brad Keselowski did at the race today. I'll talk about that in my final third. He made a ballsy. Yeah, the game's on Wednesday. Shit, we're gonna miss some of Game 4 because of the damn show. Damn it, you Golden Sports Report podcast piece of shit. All right, that's enough of the cup talk. We're gonna talk about LA again because we have to cover the Pacific Division, and we have to kind of give our opinion on the 7 teams and excuse me, what they need going forward. So first, we're gonna do Anaheim, Calgary, and Edmonton. Sean, since you're a Ducks fan, go first and give your spiel on those three.
all right. We all know that Solani has retired and left Anaheim for good this time. Um, and they currently have two picks in the first round. Um, to me, they still need a little help on the defense, and they need someone to step up and take Solani's role. Um, so with the first pick, I think it's the ninth pick in the first round. It's going to be a offensive player, and then their second one in the first is going to be a defense to help the back out.
Okay. You can do all three at once, and then I'll do.
Oh, okay. So Anaheim, Calgary, and Edmonton.
Sorry,
Okay.
you didn't explain it well enough for the show.
No, that's fine. Calgary, it's a little more difficult for me. Don't really follow the team as much as I used to. Um, their offense is decent. It's obviously not the greatest team in the whole world. But to me, they need a goalie. Rome is just not very good. Maybe they'll pick up Hiller if Anaheim decides to let him go. Um, but that might be in the free agents and for the draft. I do think they need defense to help them out too. So Edmonton, they've got all the offense they need. The coaching still not the greatest, so they're probably not going to amount to much. And their defense needs help. So defense for them.
Yeah, probably gonna have some similarities here. Definitely for Edmonton, but Anaheim's an interesting case because they arguably have the best goaltending prospect in the league, Gibson. They have great young defense that just, this year they're too young. They're too young for the moment, and they'll get better with age. So that's the thing. And forward, Solani did leave, and they don't have a scorer, a finesse scorer on their team at all. And it is, like I said earlier, the Western Conference. But with Perry and Getzlaff, they have that physical scorer that they need. They have two of them. But they could also use a guy that they just give the puck and he can do anything he wants with it and put it in the back of the net, like Solani. Solani isn't a tough guy, but he was slick all throughout his career. And that's what they need. They need a slick forward, somebody that's agile, can move around the puck a lot, can make plays, a playmaker. Like they have Getzlaff and they have Perry, and those guys are good, and they're really good, but they aren't somebody that just can make a play happen. It's hard to say because Getzlaff is really good, and Perry shoots a puck, but like they need to replace those goals, and they need to replace that finesse guy.
To me, that's what Bobby Ryan was when he was there. He did all the passing for them, and he could score. So
Hey, that first round pick, that's from the Bobby Ryan trade. So
yeah, it is.
use it. They use it for a guy in the same sort of skill set, and it would make sense for them. Um, Calgary is a clusterfuck. It's a mess. Um, Forward, they have nothing of significance to me, at least, besides Monahan. Um, Defense, nothing of significance. And goalie, nothing of significance. They have a problem. They have a major problem. The problem with Calgary is they're like the Buffalo Bills, but even worse. They never finished bad enough to get a star player, but they never finished good enough to make it look like they're good. And they're really bad. They just need the best player they can get. They need a player that they can pick that is going to leave an impact on this franchise for 20 years and not take a risk, take a solid top prospect that can score goals. So I guess go forward. But they need defense. So they could go defense. But like goalie you answer later in the draft or this year, There's a few goalies on the market. I think with Brodeur entering the market, he's not going to go to Calgary, obviously. But Hiller may have dropped a peg because Brodeur will be a cheaper option and only a 1 year option, where Hiller probably want a contract worth a couple years. So I could see Calgary investing in Hiller more so than Miller or Brodeur. And Edmonton, they have the best young players at the top of their top six there, with their picks of Gagne and Hall and Nugent Hopkins and Eberle and Yakupov sucks, but Yakupov. They have no defense. They have Darnell Nurse. We haven't seen Darnell Nurse yet. He's supposed to be really good. They have absolutely no goaltending. They have Ben Scrivens, and he is an underdog. I'll tell you, he is an underdog. But they need to get a good young goalie prospect or a good defenseman, because they have all the forwards in the world to make their team a top team. They just to help their goalie if Ben Scrivens decides to be their goalie, I guess. So that's the thing. Our second half of teams are Los Angeles, Phoenix, now known as Arizona. My God, I can't talk. Now known as Arizona, San Jose, and Vancouver. So, Sean, give us your lowdown on those four.
Ah, LA, LA, LA. They have everything. Uh, they can take whatever and just laugh because they literally need nothing. So they're like Florida except good, and they can, they can just screw around with this draft. But I'm not saying that Florida's good. I'm saying that Florida needs everything. Actually, it's kind of the opposite. I'll just shut up. Oh, they should just go with like a hitter, I guess, to keep up with their physicality, whether it's defense or offense. I don't know. Arizona, they obviously don't need a goalie. Their defense is pretty good. So offense, San Jose. Personally, I like their goaltender. I know Andy is a little iffy, I think. Um, Defense is decent, so offense again. Vancouver. Hmm. They're going to be getting Miller, so they have a goalie. Um, their offense is fine, so defense, I guess, help out. If they don't get Miller, help out Lack. So, yeah, short and sweet.
I'm probably not going to be as short because I talk too much. So, right. LA, great hockey team, have probably, I would say, the second best young goalies in the league when it comes to Martin Jones, as he proved when he played in place of Quicken Scrivens this year. He had 10 straight wins to start his career, or something crazy like that. So he's good. They don't need a goalie. Um, Forward, they have so much skill. And Tyler Toffoli, as I keep saying, is just amazing. That Tanner Pearson kid is amazing for being like a fifth round pick. And everybody said last night, they mentioned on the game, that they thought his skating was bad, and that's why no one drafted him. Well, he can skate, and he can skate well, and he can skate fast. So They don't need. I don't think they need a forward. I think they need a defenseman. And the reason I'm going to say this is Willie Mitchell's playing. You got Robin Regier, and those two guys are pretty old. They're in their later 30s. I think they're both like 35 and 37 or something around there. And I think they need a physical defenseman. Um, like Doughty is one of the best all-around defensemen in the league. Muzzin is a pretty good defenseman. Boynoff, Martinez, but they need a physical guy. So that's what I think they should get, a physical defenseman. Um, Arizona Coyotes. Mike Smith is a net. He's a pretty good goalie. They could use a backup. Mike Smith is over 30, but I wouldn't waste my draft pick on it. Um, Defense, Yandel and Oliver Ekman Larson are probably the second or third best pair of defensemen in the league behind Keith and Seabrook and maybe another random that I'm forgetting right now. But Yandel and OEL are really good defensemen, so they should stay. And forward, that's what they need is forward. Like Shane Doan and Martin Hansel. Martin Hansel's good, but he gets injured a lot. I think they just need a pure goal scorer there. They have Verbata, and he scores, but he's getting older now. They need someone that can put the puck in the net on a regular basis, and that's what they need. So they should get. San Jose, they are a team that seems like it doesn't need a lot, but it does. Niemi is a good goalie. Like I questioned him in the playoffs, so I think Miller would fit well there in terms of splitting time with Niemi plus being closer to his wife. But defense, they have Demers and Braun and Irwin. And I really like those three defensemen a lot. They lost Boyle, and that's going to hurt. Boyle is with the Islanders now. And forward, they're going to lose Thornton and Marlowe soon. That's inevitable. And those are your two best players right now. Like Couture and Pavelski are third and fourth, and that's not. Those aren't bad players. Those are good hockey players, really good hockey players. But Joe Thornton is one of the best passers to ever play in the game, at least in my opinion. And without him passing the puck to you, you're going to miss out on a very good guy to set you up. And I think that's what they need. They're going to need a guy that can put the puck on a string, pass it to whoever they want, and just be their Joe Thornton, their younger Joe Thornton. I think that's what they need. They need a passer. Vancouver, the Sedins are old. Let's get it that straight. The Sedins are, they've been in the league since 98, 99, or 2000, so they've been in the league anywhere from 14 to 16 years. So they are getting to the end of their rope. Kessler is like 31, and he's getting up there. And they have goalie prospects. Like they have Eddie Lack and they have Jacob Markstrom, but they have Alex Edler. But defense, they could use help. Offense, they could use help. I think they just go best player available at offense or defense. Um, they got to replace the Sedin twins somehow. They have to start looking to that because I don't think the Sedin twins have much gas left in the tank, and they're not going to play if one can play and the other can't. So that's the thing.
I have a question. I don't know
Shoot.
about I don't know the Sedin's contract or anything, but say Vancouver does trade them, do they both have to go to the same team or no?
It. I told the draft story before on here.
You've mentioned it, I don't, but yeah.
They okay. Two. I gotta say the draft story. Plus, we kind of gotta make up time. So I don't know what draft it was, but Obviously, I don't know draft list. But Ryan Burke was the GM of Vancouver Canucks, and at the time, Anaheim, no, Carolina had the first overall pick. Atlanta had like the second. Vancouver had the third. Tampa Bay had the fourth. And so Vancouver pulls off all these masterful trades, and all of a sudden end up with the second and third overall pick. Wow. Whoever was in first, it was either Carolina or Atlanta. They told Brian Burke told them the Sedins will not come over to America by themselves. I mean, on separate teams. And he said, "We have the second and third pick. We will pay you," and they paid them with picks to not pick one of the Sedins because the Sedins did say they would not play on separate teams. And Pavel Brendel got picked by, I think it was Carolina, and Pavel Brendel sucked. So Carolina lost on that. They didn't win much by getting Brendel over a Sedin that wouldn't come over. But so Henrik and Daniel have never not played together, and when they came over here, they said they would never not play together. So their contracts are identical, but to trade one, you have to trade both, and the other team just knows they're not going to get them. So I think they could, but no one's going to be willing to do that because they know they can't get the one that they even if they were be like, hey, I want Henrik Sedin, you can't get Henrik Sedin because Henrik's just going to say no and just not play for you because you don't have Daniel. So
Yeah, I was thinking
that
they they try to get first round or a closer first round in the next one where there's more offensive talent. So when they do retire or get traded, they have someone to help that out.
well, the only tough part about that is the teams at the top of the draft are the teams that aren't close to making the playoffs, and you're not going to want to trade for two older players when you're not going to make the playoffs. At least that's what I. Uh, how do you feel about? I guess I should ask you. How do you feel about the Islanders getting Boyle and Halak? And how do you think that's going to affect the Sabres' first round pick from the Islanders next year? Do you think they're going to be
Ah,
a lot better, or do you think they're gonna be the same?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Um, because wherever they place, we get that pick no matter what, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. Because don't we already have three first rounders, or is the third one counting the Islanders?
it's counting the Islanders.
Okay. I don't know. Either way, we're still in a great place. Um, as long as we suck. Um, but obviously, with them having a real goalie now and, in my opinion, a great defenseman, it's obviously going to help them a lot. Um, Boyle was a good um, captain in my eyes. He wasn't. I don't think he was an actual captain, but he acted like one. Um, I don't know. It's going to be hard to decide or to predict at least. I don't think it would to actually answer your question for once. It, actually, I don't think it would hurt us at all because in the end we'll still have three first round picks. I don't see how that can hurt at all.
This is pick might not be that big of a deal when we have 3 picks draft. So I don't know. I just don't like the moves because the pick was a 5th overall pick this year, and everyone was like, well, he'll do as bad next year, and then the pick is worth more because next year's draft is deeper. And then it's like, well, now they got Halak and Boyle. How deep is next year's draft compared to this one? Like, if they were like 10th worst and we got the 10th pick instead of the 5th, how much did we really lose if next year's draft is deeper? So that's a thing. I hope that the Islanders do bad. I don't think they're going to do as bad, but I won't say that they're going to do great. I don't think they're a playoff team. Uh, I don't think they get out of the bottom 10. But yeah, so that's my opinion on that. And with that, we're about 13 minutes from 1 hour, and uh, we kind of exhausted our topics. So in the comments below, give your opinion on the 7 teams that we talked about, I guess. Anaheim, Calgary, Edmonton, LA, Phoenix, aka Arizona, San Jose, and Vancouver. And even some feedback on your opinion of the Islanders and how you think they're going to do next year with the addition of Block and Boyle, and how that affects the Sabres' future and that pick that we get next year from the Thomas Vanek deal. So comment away. And with that, we'll go to final words. So, Sean, your
No.
your moment, your moment. It is your time. You're going to feel like Dylan now, talking about a sport that not
Yes.
anybody else on the show knows anything about. So, here's your moment.
All right. As probably none of you know, but it is popular. In 8 days, the World Cup will be beginning in Brazil. Um, U.S. team has had 3 friendly matches so far and has won all 3. Um, I don't know. Uh, there, there's been a lot of question in their defense and how good they're actually playing lately. Um, uh, most of them have never played with, well, yeah, have never even played with each other. Um, so that's raising a lot of questions if they're even going to be able to keep up with the group that we're in, which is a really, really tough group compared to how we are at soccer, and we as in the U.S. Um, but so far they've held their own. I watched the game against Turkey. We won 2-1 against them. Uh, the defense, as expected, looks very sloppy. They gave up a lot of very good opportunities for Turkey to capitalize on, but Turkey didn't get by. We do have Howard for goaltender, so that's always a plus. He's always dependable. Um, and our forwards can score. Um, Josie Altidore finally scored his first game in our full first goal, and I want to say it's been 36 games for him. He's probably the most flexible player. I shouldn't say the most flexible player on the team. So now that he got that out of the way, I'm sure he's going to explode more. Um, yeah. I'll talk about this one player that just started in the U.S. His name is, I forgot his first name, but it's Green. He is current. I screwed it up. Uh, Last Friday he turned 19. He was born in Florida, and then he spent most of his whole life in Germany. And he was given the opportunity to either play in Germany or play for the Germany team or the U.S. team. And his head was saying Germany, but his heart was saying U.S. So he decided to go for the U.S., and that disqualifies him for ever playing for the international team for Germany ever again. Um, so he's 19 years old, and he's made the biggest decision in his whole life. He's explosive. Um, he's got a lot of talent for being a 19-year-old, and he's only got, well, this has probably changed. I don't know how many minutes he played yesterday when they played Nigeria, but when they played Turkey, he's only had 30 minutes of, if that, of international play. Um, and the U.S., uh, whoever picks the players, I don't know who he is, but had a lot of faith in this kid, and he's finally getting his time to shine. He's uh, he's I don't know. He's got a lot of potential, and it's going to be interesting. Um, the group that we are in is Group G. We are playing Ghana. I think that's what you say. June 16th, uh, June 21st, or something like that. We play Portugal. That's against Cristiano Ronaldo. There we go. So we all know that's how that's probably going to end. And then we play Germany, which is always a very strong team. And the thing against Ghana, or I'm going to say it again wrong, but Ghana has taken us out of the World Cup picture for the past 2 years. So for a small country like them to come in and take out one of the bigger teams that are not that talented in the or in the World Cup is pretty big. So it's going to be interesting. There's a long final word for me.
It was, but you know a lot about soccer, and it's interesting. This kid made this big decision. Like some hockey players have that same decision when they're like Pominville, I believe, has that decision. Like he has dual citizenship in Canada and the United States, so he had to make excuse me, his decision on which team he would play for the rest of his life. And there are some hockey players that have the same problem. Yeah, you were saying it right. It is Ghana, just so you don't feel
Okay.
sad. Wow, United States sucks at World Cup. Holy crap! Third place one time, 84 years ago. Holy crap, we suck. I didn't know we were that bad. I thought maybe we won one time, but we haven't even won. We didn't even
No,
win
well,
a
you
single
have
game.
all the South American teams like Brazil, where the kids basically come out of their mom with a soccer ball. They they can dribble like crazy. They're so talented, and for us, we are fortunate to have so many other sports to be into. But think about all of the African teams that don't really have the resources, so they're going to be really good. Or, like I said, the South American teams. It's, I don't know, it's just not our sport to be into. So, obviously, you're not going to really expect the United States to beat Brazil or something like Portugal. So, it's it's always fun to watch. There's not as much diving as like um, the Bear Claws lead, so it's definitely a lot more intense. There's a lot of pushing and shoving. Obviously, that's what happened to Zinedine Zidane. That's when he headbutted that one guy. We all know
Yeah,
that.
right.
It's yeah. So it gets very intense, and it's always fun to watch. So why not?
Hey, you like soccer? World Cup's about to start. probably talk about it more on the episodes coming up. Um, we had planned to do it more, but with all the cancellations we've had past month, things got backlogged and stuff like that. So yeah, and my final word. Wait, weren't you gonna say who you thought was gonna win it?
Oh yeah. I didn't think about this. Um, Personally, I don't think Brazil's gonna make it to the final. I think it's gonna be Argentina for the final, and I don't even know. Portugal is always
Italy,
good, huh?
Italy,
Italy's pretty good, but
Italy.
they've kind of dropped ever since like 2 years ago or something. But I don't know. I think Argentina's gonna be really close. Mess East when it comes to international play. So Argentina for me.
There you go. Watch Argentina, South American team. But bam. Um, yeah. As I just said, and I guess I'll reiterate, we will be talking more about the World Cup in the next few episodes. So keep in touch if you like World Cup. My final word is NASCAR. Today was like Pocono 400. I don't know what sponsored it, but Pocono 400 miles. It was 160 laps. Want to say 160 or 180? No, 160. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. won. But I'll
Woohoo!
describe the day like this: it seemed whoever was in front didn't necessarily have a good day because Keselowski led the first like 90 laps, and then the Stewart Haas team with Tony Stewart, obviously, Kevin Harvick, and Kurt Busch, they were one, two, and three at one point. They were one, two, three, and they all had cars that could stay up in the one, two, three. Well, Harvick got a flat tire and then caused a caution by having the flat tire. So Tony Stewart leading the race and Kurt Busch going down pit road. Tony Stewart decided to speed down pit road under caution. So that screwed him. And then Kurt Busch completely missed his pit stall and for some reason drove by it. So he had to go back around and go down. So those Stewart and Busch, they hurt their chances. Busch ended up getting back up there and finishing third, but it essentially ruined Tony Stewart's day as he only got back to 13th after leading at the time of which he sped. So that's the thing. And to say the even more crazy part is, so Keselowski is leading, and he got a piece of garbage on the front of his car. Now, if you don't know NASCAR, you may think, oh, well, it's just a piece of garbage. Well, there's like, say, a foot long uh, grill for a NASCAR car. And generally, the more tape you put on it, the faster your car will go, but your engine will get hotter. And it might overheat and blow up because it gets too hot because they're running so fast. Well, when a piece of garbage gets stuck on that grill, the engine starts to overheat and it'll blow up. So a big bag got stuck on Keselowski's grill, and there were 9 laps left when it happened, and he's like, "I've got 9 laps left. I can make it. I think I can make it, but I'm not sure if I can make it without blowing the car up." And well, he said with like 6 laps left to his crew chief, they listened to the radio, and he said, "You know, I'm leading the race. I'm not going to give away the win. I'm not going to. It's either win or I blow up." Well, with 4 laps left, he catches up to a lap down car. Now, aerodynamics, now this is physics. I don't know much about physics, but when a car gets behind another car, the air pressure changes, and it'll cause the piece of garbage to it'll be like wind blowing the piece of garbage off because the pressure changed in the air. Well, Keselowski slowed down behind the lapped car to try and get it off as Dale Jr. passes him. And he was willing to make that risk, hoping that the paper would fall off and he would be able to chase down and pass Jr. Well, the paper didn't come off. So not only is he not going to win the race by trying to blow it up, but now he's got to worry about trying to finish second place without blowing up. Where, and the saddest part is he finished the race. So if he hadn't slowed down, he would have won the race because the engine had enough in it for the last 9 laps. So Dale Jr. won the race because Keselowski essentially let him pass him in hopes that he could have caught back up to him to get the paper off. So that was a long NASCAR spiel. Hopefully you learned a little bit about NASCAR in there. And
Another two facts, I think it was, if I
another
can
two
cut
facts.
in. Yeah, it's this is the first uh second win season that Earnhardt has ever gotten since 2004. There's that. And what team is he on?
Hendrick.
Hendrick. It's I want to say this is another record for them. It's been three straight races that Hendrick cars have won. I want to say. I don't know if it was a record, but that's three straight. So obviously they're doing something right.
Oh yeah, when you got guys like Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, like Johnson won the last two races, and he uh he had car troubles today, and I was so happy. I was like, yes, Johnson's not gonna win a third race in a row. He was like third place, and I was like, oh shit, he's gonna win again, but he didn't. Um, Another fun fact is that was the fourth straight win for Hendrick at Pocono, and all four of their drivers each won a race. So
Oh,
that means that that track, all their cars do well, not just one driver. So, and
nice.
I'm a Ford guy, so screw Hendrick. So yeah, yeah, Keselowski losing was sad. Yeah, Junior's first multi-win season since 2004. That's a big deal. That is a big deal. He's having possibly his best season of his career right now. I guess another NASCAR fun fact, because we're going on a NASCAR fun fact streak here. Matt Kenseth is second in points right now with no wins. And with the new chase system, if you win a race, you automatically get the chase. Well, not necessarily, but at this point, it pretty much is that way. If you win a race, you get the chase. Well, Kenseth is second in points without a win. If he doesn't get a win, and six more different drivers do, and he finishes first in points, he still won't make the championship because he didn't get a win. So he has to get on that. You know, finishing fifth place every race is good in the old system. Kenseth won his first championship by 400 points.
Jesus.
If you don't know, now the most you could win in a race at that time was 180. So for the last three races of the season, he didn't even have to show up and he would have won the championship. And he only had one win. So that is Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth rarely gets, well, he wins once a season, twice a season. Last year he won a lot, but most of the time he only wins one or two races, but he's really consistent. So he's consistent this year, he's just not getting wins. And now wins are more important than ever. So if you care about NASCAR talk, make a comment. There's a lot of junior fans. Maybe there's a junior fan that watches. And with that, that is the Golden Sports Report episode 69. Like, comment, favorite, subscribe. We like
Oh no. No. What happened? I'm so confused. Oh god. What the hell? Please tell me he did not just freeze. Ah,
So, so. Yo,